Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
I'm sorry, correction, it was agenda item 25. Agenda item 25.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, church. Good afternoon. I'm pleased to come before you again, and at such a reasonable hour. In fact, can I see a show of hands? How many of you did not stick around for the finance presentation last night? Come on, we don't want any sin by omission here. Okay, the rest of you are free to go. You totally earned it. Actually, please don't go because we need a quorum. And the presentation you heard last night will provide you with helpful context for this presentation, our annual proposal on the proverbial budget, or better known as the recommended 2020 Mission and Ministry budget, which should come on the screen soon. However, when I refer to the proverbial budget, I literally mean the book of Proverbs. Budgeting is biblical, and the book of Proverbs is chock full of budget wisdom. Proverbs 21:5 reads, "The plans of the diligent surely lead to abundance." Proverbs 24:27, "Prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house." In fact, after spending some time in the book of Proverbs, I'm convinced that Solomon was a frustrated CFO at heart. He has a verse for nearly every finance function, including a slide that's not there. Well, I'll tell you what they say. As far as accounting goes, the Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. Audit. Know well the condition of your flocks. Investment. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. And of course, risk management. The borrower is the slave of the lender. So today we will live out Scripture and focus on next year's budget. If you have it with you, I would ask that you open to the large folded spreadsheet titled Mission and Ministry 2020 in your delegate notebook. That will help you follow along as we go through this, and if not, don't worry about it. Much of it will be on the screen as well. And just a reminder, and it's an important one, that all the mission activity we cover today represents all that we do together: local church, conference, and denomination. This is our three-strand-strong partnership. Again, similar to your local church context, we have base mission activity. You know, I have slides that are not here that would make what I'm saying make a lot more sense. So let's see if I'm not quite sure why we're missing some slides. There's that one. So, again, similar to your local church context, we have base mission activity. That's activity where we take funding risk, where we make investment and the hope and prayer of your faithful support. As we covered last night, that base mission budget includes very significant external appropriations for activities that are crucial and central to what we do, like church planting, like affiliate support, and like missionary appropriations. Then we have project ministries that rely exclusively on the funding that they're able to raise for their work. It's important that you know that the budget we propose today represents the work of many people over many months, and ultimately comes through the leadership team of Covenant offices, and is also reviewed and recommended to you by the Finance Committee and the Executive Board. You saw this slide last night. The investment themes that we visited for each mission priority are also the primary drivers of our $28 million budget proposal for FY 2020. Again, we are experiencing an increased cadence of new church plants as we grow the ECC's footprint. Make and Deepen Disciples is filling in key slots and optimizing their project investment. Also in MDD, there has been a primary staff change in the shift of women's ministry leadership to the President's office. In Develop Leaders, we are investing heavily to better support our incredible ministerium. The Love, Mercy, Do Justice budget reflects new leadership and staffing changes. Serve Globally's budget reflects a significant increase in the missionary forecast. The communications budget is rationalized around key strategic enhancements under new leadership. And in shared services, we are trying to control escalating cost pressure in IT, risk and facility costs, while also making strategic investments in key staff positions to better serve the whole ECC. So our base mission investment recommendation for fiscal year 2020 is nearly $19 million. That is a 4% increase over the 2019 budget, or just over $726,000. If you look at the components of where that growth comes from, you will note that it is divided fairly evenly between greater investment in Serve Globally and in shared services. You saw the wonderful missionary families who were commissioned this morning. They will be bringing the good news of Jesus Christ to the ends of the earth. That is where our increased investment in Serve Globally is going, and I can't imagine a better use of our church's resources. In order to better support the whole mission and ministry of the ECC, we are also increasing our investment in shared services. While the 2020 budget number is 12.3% higher than last year's number, you'll note that we reduced the investment in shared services by nearly 5% in last year's budget. Thus, the 2020 budget is up only 6.9% over the 2018 actual number. Frankly, there are necessary technology investment we need to make, think like cybersecurity, database technology, building costs, and key staff positions. This spend will help us better manage the risks we face, as well as leverage the opportunities we see to get better. Importantly, we again anticipate the entirety of our ministry support costs will be covered by affiliate fee income. What that means is, again, we expect that 100% of church and donor giving will go directly into mission and ministry. Before we leave this slide, I want to note that we have changed the manner in which we report our investment in Start and Strengthen churches. The SSC budget is significantly funded by Living Legacy or church close proceeds. Prior to this year, we used to show our investment in this ministry net of the draw on Living Legacy funds. However, because we've been increasing our material reliance on Living Legacy dollars in support of church plant growth, we are now showing both the gross investment in Start and Strengthen churches and the gross draw on Living Legacy funds in our base mission income statements. All that projected investment in our vast, varied, and wonderful mission activities is made possible by our base mission income. Through the incredible work of our advancement team, in concert with our conference leadership, we are projecting a 2% increase in our church support in 2020. That implies a 3-year compound annual growth rate of 2.3% in church giving. We are forecasting a 4.04% increase in year-over-year donor support, which implies a 3-year growth rate in individual donor giving of approximately 1.5%. I do want to mention here, as part of our 3-strand-strong invitation, that the 6.5% we invite your church to give to the denomination does include any project ministries that you choose to support. That said, we also remind you that without the ECC's base mission infrastructure and the commensurate unrestricted giving required to support it, the project ministries are simply not possible. But please know that we are extremely grateful to you for all your giving. The affiliate fee income is the church's net fee activity From the over $2 billion in affiliate mission and ministry, we expect that income to increase by nearly 8.5% over last year's budget. Last night, we touched upon transfer income via bequests and living legacy funds. Though we expect our living legacy draw to be flattish in FY 2020, we are increasing our budget forecast for transfer income by 4.47%. This is due to the incredible generosity of covenanters in the form of estate giving and bequests. We now have well over a 5-year span of bequest reserves to draw from, so we are comfortable raising our budget projections. Communication sales continue to be challenging in this digital era. We don't expect a lot of growth in this area, but our communications team continues to generate high quality and important work, helping us in our mission into every place and every heart. And finally, rental income is contractual by lease from various entities that are housed within Covenant offices. And so, in fiscal year 2020, we are forecasting total base mission income of $18,874,304, which provides us with a projected balanced base mission budget. As we touched on last night, it is important to understand the component parts of our budget investment. Otherwise, the numbers imply that some of our mission priorities aren't quite the priority that others are, which is certainly not the case. For example, the base mission budget of Start and Strengthen churches is more than 3 times the budget of Make and Deepen Disciples. However, when we break the base mission budget into its 2 component parts, core mission and appropriations, we see that the core investment in the 2 mission priorities is roughly the same. However, the Start and Strengthen churches budget includes $2.5 million in appropriations for investment in new church plants, and those dollars will stay in those churches. Other appropriations include Develop Leaders support of North Park University and Seminary, as well as Serve Globally's appropriation in support of our budgetary missionaries who wonderfully now raise 93% of their full support. Our global personnel are very active in working alongside you and so many churches to make it possible to bring their ministry to the world. Lastly, we include a column that shows the dollar totals of project ministries that are distributed throughout our mission priorities. We are projecting $9.375 million in budgeted project activities in 2020. If you haven't yet done so, please take a look at the big spreadsheet we included in your delegate notebook. The bottom half of that spreadsheet details our remarkable project ministry activities. Again, the ECC is not taking financial risk in project ministries, at least not in the funding sense. These ministries rely solely on the support they raise from you. We include these project ministries in our budget to reflect that the dollars pass through the denomination on their way to the ministry. By the way, these totals do not include every project ministry. There are many other incredible project and affiliate ministries in the ECC, such as Chet, that are not reflected in our financial statements because their support is not administered by the denomination. A couple of additional notes. The $1.45 million in project ministries and developed leaders is an 80% increase over last year's total and reflects the impact of our work with the Lilly Foundation. Those dollars are directed at making certain that our ministerium is properly cared for. Love, Mercy, Do Justice has risen from almost no project ministry sponsorship 7 years ago to $1.4 million in activity, which includes under-resourced housing ministries, Cov Enterprises, and domestic disaster relief. And as we saw yesterday, Serve Globally is the largest sponsor of project ministry activities as they bring all the great work of the ECC out among the many peoples and many nations. So bottom line, all in, we are projecting a total mission investment budget of $28,249,304 in fiscal year 2020. To give you a break from all the spreadsheet rows and columns, this slide displays our total 2020 mission and ministry budget in a format that might be a little easier on the eyes. This is a visual representation of all we do together. The lime green section reflects our investment in our 5 mission priorities. The purple section reflects our forecast for project mission activity. The red section represents the work of and our investment in the communications team. And the blue section reflects mission support ministry provided by shared services. We know that ideally, donor dollars want to find their way into our core mission priorities or project ministries. And as I have already shared, we are very pleased that 100% of mission support, the red section and blue section combined, is covered by external revenue sources outside of your church and donor giving. We aim to make that green section and purple section as large a part of that circle as possible. Going forward, I promise you that we will endeavor to faithfully and prayerfully steward God's provision to this church. We aim to ensure that the ECC has the financial resources it needs to both sustain and grow its mission. So, Mr. Moderator, it is my pleasure to bring a recommendation from the Finance Committee, from the Covenant Office's leadership team, and ultimately the Executive Board to approve the 2020 Mission and Ministry budget of $28,249,304.
The motion before you is the approval of the Mission and Ministry budget of $28,249,304 for the fiscal year 2020. It does not require a second coming from a board. Are you ready for the question? Delegate number 5.
May I address my question to the presenter, Mr. Moderator? My name is Ray.
If it's a question, yes, you may.
I'm Ray Leafgren, First Covenant, Duluth, Minnesota. You've spoken about affiliate fee income. I don't know what that means.
Well, affiliate fee income is income derived from relationships we have here in the Covenant Church. Some of them are owner relationships on our part, such as National Covenant Properties, and it's income from CMB, Covenant Ministries of Benevolence. I'm still learning these acronyms. And other ministries in-house. We have a 501c3 in-house. So these are fees that we receive within the relationships, and they're either very closely affiliated with us or we have ownership relationships in them.
So the fees, I hear the relationships, but I don't understand the source of the fees. How do they flow to us?
The source of the fee, well, we have components in our organization that are doing wonderful work. CMB is the umbrella over Swedish Covenant Hospital, over CRC, and other relationships they have. So those entities are generating income into them that flow through CMB into the Covenant Church. So, there's been, over the years, we as sort of a parent corporation have helped subsidize and grow some of these affiliates and the relationships, and any opportunity they've had to give back to the church, they've certainly have.
Thank you. One other question. Are these the external revenue sources that you are also referring to? Is another phrase that...
Yeah, yes, it was.
Thank you.
Delegate at microphone 2.
Peg Gasso, Covenant Church, Galesburg. Mr. Moderator, I have been just heartened by the diversity within our denomination. I look at the church plants, I look at new churches, I look at the executive board, and I see a multicultural church. Forgive me to the delegates, but I look here and I see men and women who are Caucasian. I've talked to several people on the basis of what do we need to do to encourage our newer churches, our churches of color, to be here at annual meeting. I think it's critical to hear their voice. The answer that I get more often than not is money. So if such a thing would happen within our budget, I'd be interested in knowing under what category would we find that. Thank you.
I would take that as a suggestion rather than as a proposed amendment to the budget. So that whether there might be such a pathway as scholarships, a scholarship fund, or some other assistance for gather fees and those kinds of things. But I think that would be in the nature of a suggestion
Yes, sir.
for the pursuit of the executive board, and you're not actually proposing an amendment to this budget. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.